All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Extreme Masters qualifiers for San Jose, as we're going to get into a round of 16 match now. We were invited to about 4 or 5 lobbies there before we got started, but we're going to be getting into State versus Kirk in the round of 16 at the very, very bottom of the bracket. And a lot of people know State. A lot of people know this as the guy who ventured out to Korea, tried to make it there, tried to do things with Prime, even played in Pro League, I believe, once or twice. And it's really nice to see him kind of like trying to qualify through these tournaments again. And I'm very interested to see how his form is going to be today.
Yeah, it should be a good game. Of course, Kirk is a Grandmaster player. That much we know. State, obviously, he's got a good reputation behind him as well. So it's going to be a fun little bit of ZVP. Starting out on Deadwing. The first map is, of course, loaded up. So let's jump on into this and get the introductions in the way.
Alrighty then. Spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner as our red Protoss. It is State, aka apparently Jabberwocky. And up to the top left-hand corner, we have our yellow Zerg. It is Kirk, or Potato, or whatever he may like to be called. So, fun times, fun times. And cross spawns means that we're going to have a little bit of fun. Of course, though, State is opening up the pylon at the front, so could happily throw down a forge.
Off goes the probe on its little adventure.
Yeah, so we could see cannon rush here on Deadwing.
And it's a map where you may risk trying to go for an early hatchery, thinking, hey, it's a really big map. I can go really greedy here, get up a good economy here. And then there's suddenly cannons. The downside is, though, obviously that probe is going to scout the top right base first, so isn't going to get that immediate first scout out, which can be a little bit irritating. The important thing to see is exactly how Kirk, or what Kirk decides to do, whether he does go for that 15 hatch, or if he grabs the pull down first.
All right, so overall, though, there we go. There's the second probe as well. So moving on now. The probe. To be fair to you, like, well, he went spawning pool. So I kind of liked that it didn't scout him first, because if you get over and to see the Zerg first, then they're like, oh, the probe's here. Oh, okay, time through the spawning pool, right? Like, and technically this would be really cool if there was a hatchery there, but there isn't going to be. I wonder if he even tries, like, if he. Because there are some annoying spots on this map that you can just like throw down pylons anyway and just keep going for it. But obviously now that he sees that hatchery timing, and then he knows it's spawning pool first. So
Kirk also isn't taking any chances. Harasses that probe a little bit. He's going to be keeping a good eye on where it's going or what it's doing. Meanwhile, Nexus does get started up. This map really bugs me because the circle isn't the size of a base.
Yeah, it doesn't look centered. It's a bit weird, but we got to deal with it.
I don't even have bad OCD. Like, I feel really sorry for people who have, like, really, really bad OCD on this map.
Yeah. If they just move it back a little bit.
just like, put it in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well. Oh, well.
First world problems.
Yeah. We can deal with it in the end. I think Probe's still going to hang around and make sure that no third base gets thrown down anytime soon. But, you know, I'm going to be interested to see what Kirk's going to do here. I don't know whether to call him Kirk or Potato. On the roster, all right, since you're not observing, you have to check this for us. Go to the wiki page, go to Dust Gaming's wiki page, and see if he's listed as either Kirk or Potato, and then we can know conclusively. That's the sickest way to figure this out.
Right, let's go here. He is as Kirk.
Okay.
On Dust Gaming.
Okay, so it is Kirk, not the alias Potato. Just making sure, guys.
I was just checking as well. There isn't a Potato as well.
Like 2 guys. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, I don't think he saw gas there. I mean, not seeing a third base, you can pretty much infer that gas is going to be taken anyway off of all of this. But he tried to get confirmation at least.
Just checking around, seeing what's happening here. Of course, we've got the Zealot on its way out. The one annoying thing about this wall-off is if there were a lot of roaches, that gateway's a little bit exposed.
Yeah, the roaches could probably hit that without that cannon really doing too much to them. And also, Mr. Kirk taking a second gas as well. But he's just been playing greedy. 28 drones at the moment. He's going to be rocketing up as well now that he has his double queens out injecting. So at this point, he should be sitting pretty fine. I'm curious to see what State is actually going to do. Again, like, State for me is if not the favorite of the whole qualifier, definitely the favorite of this series.
Yep.
So, Twilight Council on the top of the ramp. So
that's actually a really neat place to hide it, because overlords don't generally try and get in there, especially since he hasn't or won't have seen the fact that there's a pylon there. So he'll check usually around the main base, come in around the natural, but that's going to be a really hard place to spot, actually.
It's funny overall, though, because Roach Warren is almost, in essence, in a very, very similar kind of place. So there is the potential that we see a few Roaches, but overall, I mean, there would always be a mothership core out quickly. But that being said, it actually won't have as much energy as it would like to have, because he has skimped on that. It was always to the Twilight Council first, and Blink is going to be the choice really, really fast here. 9
Roaches already in production, coming out at the moment for Kirk, and Stake could be running into some trouble. This probe is going to get denied before it really gets in. Doesn't actually get very much information at all. Doesn't see the second gas. Doesn't know anything about gas timings. All he knows for sure is that there isn't a third base, which would be getting a little bit late now. Oh, the Twilight Council wasn't seen either, was it?
Don't think so.
Nope.
He hardly saw anything. He saw a gas at the natural, and you know, that can mean anything, basically, at this point, other than the fact that maybe there's not really Zealot pressure coming along, but this Roach Ling attack that we're going to see here.
I'm really scared, actually, for State, because he's only got 1 gateway. He's skimped on so much in order to get the +1 and Blink down so incredibly early that these Roaches that the Mothership Core is about to see are going to be terrifying. And as I said right at the start, the position of that gateway means that the cannon isn't really going to be able to do too much.
Where's the Mothership Core going? It needs to be back there to eventually have energy for Photon Overcharge. And it does now, but it's so far out. Why did it go all the way to the Watchtower and then come back?
There's also no sentry out. It was another Stalker made. Warp Gate tech is nearly finished, but the Forge gets taken out and cancels +1. That is a devastating loss, and I'd argue already Kirk has done enough.
Yeah, one could say that. These 42 workers again during all of this, with third base on the way. Blink is about to finish up. If he had this boost of production behind all of this right now, then maybe he could go and put on some counter. He's going to try and put on the counter pressure. I mean, he kind of has to here, because his longevity in this game is kind of stuck.
Blink's now revealed, chasing down a few more of those Roaches. We've got additional ones coming on out. Bear in mind, Zergling speed is finished as well, so those Stalkers could have a bit of a rough time here.
And the creep spread is good as well, which makes this all the more annoying, because he has no way of actually clearing up that creep spread. But positioning yourself on this low ground and blinking up and down is really, really irritating. He's going to try and wall it off. This is something that we've seen Zest do in the past, and it's really, really effective. But he needs more Stalkers. He needs more everything.
A little bit of blinking back coming on through. The first Hydralisks are coming on out. That's going to be very important for Kirk here. It's going to give him a lot more damage on its way through. Does see some of the pylons.
The thing is, I feel that this this Blinkstalker Assault, whilst it is doing good damage and it's really, really good control here from State, it like relies on the fact that this third base has been meaningful and significant. But in this game, it hasn't really so far. He's been on 2 base for a long time.
Few force fields being used here. That zones out quite a bit. Picking up those Roaches is really solid, actually.
And this Blink control is really, really good. He hasn't lost many units at all during all of this assault. I don't think he's lost a single unit during this assault.
I don't think he has either. He's only lost the Zealot and 2 probes so far, his state. So this is obviously very, very frustrating. More Roaches, more Hydras coming on out. Groove Spine is also about to be done. That's going to be integral to allowing these Hydralisks to be more efficient.
It's so hard to break this spot as a Zerg. Again, just setting up down on this low ground and making it very, very difficult for your opponent to really do anything. The pylons are perfect as well, because it just denies any kind of surface area your opponent would have down here. This is going to be really, really difficult to break, because this army is getting really strong here. Imagine if it had +1 as well. Jeez.
Oh, the sentries are getting taken down really quick, though. That's a nice little pick-off, but of course the Blinkstalkers are the big damage dealers. A Time Warp, double Time Warp being thrown down there, actually. A couple of force fields. The Hydralisks trying to do as much damage as they can, but there's just not that critical mass of them yet, nor the support required. State has got an overwhelming advantage in terms of army on the ground, and that's allowing him to do really well.
Yeah, the majority of his losses there were just the sentries, and yeah, whilst having force fields is really, really cool for these Stalkers as well. I mean, it's 26 Stalkers going up against 5 Hydralisks and 5 Roaches and 3 Hydralisks at this point. It's just, you do not have enough firepower to deal with this many Stalkers, because his longevity, like the overall efficiency of them has been so high, so high.
Couple more shots coming on through here. The Queen's trying to focus down the Mothership Core, although that doesn't have much energy left on it. On the ground, the Stalkers, though, reigning supreme, even with the upgrade disadvantage. it's going to be enough. Pushing forward, monstrously powerful here, focusing down a couple of the queens. There's the GG. And there we have it. State takes game number 1 of this best of 3.
Yeah, really, really good stuff there by State to start things off. As much as losing that +1 sucks.
Yep.
I suppose in the end, technically he could have had Photon Overcharge to try and defend against that a little bit, but would it have made a huge difference? I mean, the Roaches and Lings didn't really push on too far anyway beyond getting that Forge, so all in all, the plan behind the Blink and the control and the efficiency of those units just won it out for State. His control was brilliant.
The Blink control really did that game, actually. So very nicely done there by State. The next map is going to be King Sejong Station. So we're going on to a slightly smaller map than Deadwing. Interestingly, we've had Deadwing as the starting game for both series so far today. A bit of a mix-up from earlier qualifiers where we did actually see Overgrowth being favoured mainly. Just waiting to make sure if we're ready to go. Okay, both players are ready, so we should be starting soon. Of course, this all leads into 2 qualification spots to stage number 2, remember, for Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. The top 3 from stage 2, the 8 invited players, the total of 8 qualified players after tonight will battle it out for those 3 spots.
I'm just looking at the brackets to see if we have any updates. Already, we've got quite a few people in the round of 16, just playing this on through. I think we're probably going to have like 4 or 5 series-ish tonight. With this being our second one. So anyway, let's jump into our second game here to find out who is going to be advancing on to the round of 8. Up to the top left-hand corner, it is our red Protoss. It is State. And down to the bottom right-hand corner, it's our yellow Zerg. It is Kirk.
So Kirk currently 1-0 up in this best of 3. Sorry, State currently up 1-0 in this best of 3, which means that if State wins this game, he advances on into the round of 16 very, very happily. And he did look very strong there, considering he had a bit of a bumpy start, losing that +1. He recovered it well with just really, really good micro on those Blink Stalkers. I think the trouble for him is potentially going to be how will he deal if Kirk doesn't go for something as aggressive? If Kirk plays out more standard, if he's in a better defensive position, will he still be able to take a good 2-base win, or does he just play it out for the longer game?
It's the funny thing is that overall, I wouldn't mind even if State did something very, very similar on this map again. Like, Blink is still pretty good on this map. I think overall, my preferred style of Blink play on a map like this is actually the 2/3 and then +2 Blink play, which can really, really punish Zergs later on, of course, though. If Kirk did have a good Roach Hydra mix kind of started up for that time, because obviously it does hit a little bit later, then he could be fine. But with this gateway opener, there is the potential here that State can be aggressive after grabbing that Nexus.
Of course, one of the cool things to see is if there's any aggression coming from the back of the natural base. Later on, you said about the +2 Blink play. Coming in from behind the natural is actually a really nice location to go for that as well. So something that obviously...
Oh, jeez. Greedy, greedy. And he's going to get away with this as well.
Yeah, it's really good. It was a gateway opening, so going hatch pool is ideal.
Yeah. And noticeably, he saved that drone because he saw the probe coming out with the Overlord. He saved that drone and put it at the top of the ramp so that when the probe came up the ramp, he just overlapped with it, and it was very, very difficult for State to instantly react to not having vision of it. So it was going to be very difficult to ever block that 3rd base as well here, as Kirk was setting himself up for it.
The nice thing here as well for Kirk is he's come in, he's seen the timing of that Nexus, so he knows, well, 100% that it was a gateway expand, so he's going to be very, very happy with himself. And yeah, now it's really up to State to see how he decides to punish this. Of course, he didn't see the 3rd, but he knows it's coming because he didn't see the pool. What would you do in this situation, Kalaris?
As who?
As State.
As State. I think I do like the idea still of just projecting yourself towards that 3rd base, but then you run the risk of your opponent going for like a +1 melee with Zergling and just like going straight for it and going straight for the jugular. So then technically you'd have to have the +1 here, researching for State, and then actually providing yourself with a cannon at the front to make sure that you'd be okay. There are options, of course. There are aggressive options here as well for him if he wants to. But I think in the end, a 3rd base for me will be the go-to for State.
We'll wait and see if he does go for it at the moment. Just getting down that warp gate tech. Should see additional gateways, maybe a forge thrown down. There we go, forge on its way. So, yep, this is all looking fine and dandy at the moment for State. Meanwhile, over on Kirk's side, he's just droning, and droning a bit more because that's really what you want to do.
Yep. Mr. Sean over in America messaging me at the moment. I'm trying to observe and cast at the same time, and then reply to this guy because he's having lots of fun over in America, waiting for BlizzCon to start. It's going to be good.
You excited?
Man, I am so excited. It's going to be my first ever BlizzCon, and considering I've played Blizzard games since like Warcraft 2,
did you ever
religiously since.
Did you ever play the first Warcraft, Orcs and Humans?
No, because I played. I never even knew it existed before Warcraft 2, and then people said to me, "Don't play Warcraft 1. You will find it very clunky and annoying." And you can like select 4 units at a time or something, right?
I played the original Warcraft. I think, to be fair, I think I was only like 5 or something ridiculous, and it was a demo version of it.
Yeah.
And I remember when I beat the 3rd level, which is the last level you could do, and it took me like 3 weeks to do because I was 5. I was so happy. Anyway, +1 missile attack, Ro16 on its way down as well here from Kirk. Meanwhile, from Mr. State, we've got a couple of additional gates and, of course, his +1 as well.
Yeah, that +1 coming on in. Where is our 3rd base here? This is pretty much exactly what I was hoping to see from State. Just a standard opener, +1 weapons on the way, getting a 3rd base down, solidifying it with cannons, and overall, because we haven't seen a melee attack come out from Kirk, it's a little bit more difficult to kind of punish this player that we're seeing here, because roaches just don't get over there too quickly. He doesn't have a layer to be able to get roach speed out, so they can't really move forwards fast enough. So right now, I mean, those overlords that are spotted in here for Kirk didn't really get him the information he wanted. And this one's so far out, by the time he gets over and spots the 3rd base establishing itself, that cannon's going to be finished, and there's going to be extra sentries to solidify him here.
Yeah, he's getting such a late scale on that 3rd base. It's really, really annoying for Kirk. I don't think he can punish it personally. The cannon will be finished. Obviously, there's the Photon Overcharge. There's SimCity with those 3 gateways. It's really, really beautiful. Also, the lair's not done yet, so unless he goes for just a lot of roaches, which he's running for, but okay, there's the 4th coming out as well. So, yep, I think this is the right call. Just go and poke with the roaches, see if you can get any luck, but get a 4th base down, more important.
And the thing is now, because he has this number of sentries, which is totally fine, he can start warping in stalkers. He saw that the extent of those sentries with his overlord, realizes, well, these roaches aren't really going to do anything. I'm not even going to bother. And now, if we see Twilight Council, it kind of, well, maybe a little bit later than normal.
I don't think we'll get the Twilight Council just because we've got the +1 armor coming on through. If we saw, if we would have already seen the Twilight Council to get +2
with
out.
+2. It would be nice though. I would have still liked it, but oh well. It doesn't matter in the end. He's actually going to just walk over here, deny the 3rd base, and then just warp straight back out if he really wants to.
Even with 10 roaches coming, this 4th, I'm pretty sure this 4th base is dead.
Yeah, Infestation and Hydraliston's on the way. He can force field and kill this if he really wants to.
Yep.
Poor little roaches.
They're so confused. They're just getting crushed to death.
Aww. Okay, so now the thing is that because there's so much energy on these sentries, what would be really, really nice for State is to actually throw Hallucinate Phoenix in there and see what's going on. Because right now he doesn't have too much idea of what his opponent is doing back at home. All he sees is a lot of roaches. But what does that mean? The layer's done. He sees the Overseers. So that has to be done overall. So he's just trying to fight against roaches. I mean, oh, okay, he saw the layer as well anyway.
He's trading really, really well against the roaches, though.
Yeah,
like,
the force fields
really,
are really good.
well.
And he can just keep on warping and stalkers. If he goes and keeps pushing now, before that infestation pit really gets online, before the Hydralisk even really gets online, because there's only a few of them out, there isn't even Groove Spines to help them, this gateway push is just going to cripple him.
The force fields are absolutely beautiful from State as well. He's just really segmenting this army, allowing him to get so much damage down in such a cost-efficient way. Finds a field of overlords.
Yeah, and the force fields continue to rain on down. Unfortunately, this is going to be very difficult for him to have a break. +1/+1 on these Stalkers, doing a lot of work overall. Getting really, really heavily supply blocked here is Kirk as well. And in these past 2 games, State has just looked on another level, sadly.
Yep. once you pick off an entire field of Overlords like that and get that much of a supply block, it's going to be so awkward. The Hydralisks, they've got a lot of damage against this, but there just isn't enough of them. A few roaches from behind, but there's the GG. And State takes a nice, clean 2-0 victory.
Yeah, pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. It's so funny, like, when you ask me what do you actually want to see from State, or what I want to see from State.
That.
Well,
Oh,
kinda. Like, he did pretty much what I said, but then didn't even go the full hog.
Yep.
Didn't even have to go the full hog towards the blink play. It was just like, well, sentries installed because he's just going to kill you.
I think a lot of the sentry play was actually really solid, and just as we saw in the first game, just the superb micro coming down from State allowed him to win that. He just kept on pressuring, never taking bad trades, just able to win it through. So we are going to go to a short break now while we wait for another series to come on through. No updates really from the brackets at the moment. So we'll be back with more Intel Extreme Masters San Jose America's qualifiers after this short break.